Guru, speaking of basketball, if there's apparently if little Lestro ever hopes to get to the NBA, there are some new rules governing his way to get out of the NCAA. you like what I did there? His way to get out of the NCAA, governing the agents to get in there with the so-called Rich Paul rule, thusly named by one Mr. LeBron James, who, as we know, right now pretty much controls everything.
Anything with a round ball, that bounces and going to net, LeBron James controls.
Yeah, he controls it. It's got his fingerprints all over it. And this was the NCAA, I think, trying to assert their own little bit of control back over LeBron James, and more specifically, not Rich Paul, because ironically, the rule specifically excludes Rich Paul himself, but future Rich Pauls from coming in and taking it. What this rule says is that players who wish to test the waters of the NBA and come back, because right now you can say, I think I'm going to go to the NBA draft, see if there's something out there, find an agent, and then decide, you know what, not for me, I'm going to go back and finish out my senior year. You could do that now.
So you could have an agent, or is that find an agent but don't sign with the agent, I believe.
Yeah, it's like a temporary contract where you can go back to the NCAA and continue your eligibility if you decide there's not an NBA career for you that year or whatever. You can go back. But to do that in the future, this new rule now says that if you want to do that, that agent must have a bachelor's degree. He must have been certified by the NBPA for at least 3 years, and he must pass an in-person exam at the NCAA office in Indianapolis. So he's got to go for an interview in Indiana. But the big thing on this is he's got to have a bachelor's degree, and that's why they say it's a shot at Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, who doesn't have a bachelor's degree and is, taking over the world with LeBron. So, Guru, what do you think of this rule that out of nowhere?
The Rich Paul rule set by the NCAA. You know what? I'm proud of Rich Paul. Just the fact that to show how far he's came, that the institution, the NCAA, will make a rule basically on his doing part, on his success. That is what you call a success right there, man. That is the ultimate thank you, because you did so well, they fear you. So I kind of, if I was for Rich Paul's sake, take this as a compliment, man. It's a freaking compliment. The NCAA is thanking you. But in other aspect, what the NCAA is really, really doing, like you mentioned, Lestro, is they are trying to impose what they will. And nowadays, why does the NCAA exist? I don't even know the reason. Why do they even exist?
I know you just get set off on the organization of the NCAA. We have differing opinions on it, and you are, because you're a player and came up through it. You hate that organization.
No, it just makes absolutely no sense. From a player, from a student, from any aspect of it. It has no logic, no sense. I was in the class, in business class, that teach you marketing, branding, about how to brand and market. The same institution that's telling me how to market myself and branding is the same one we street. That don't make no sense, and it never will make any sense.
I 100% agree with you on that point. We disagree on the pay the players, but I 100% agree that the players should be allowed to market the shit out of themselves, man. That is, you don't own them. Go let them make money off them. I understand you're not going to pay them for the sport, and that's an entirely different discussion, but let them make themselves off being them make some money. You know what? If a sneaker company wants to pay them money to wear their sneaker, let them. If they want to be in a video game and sell their face on it, let them. Shit, if they want to be down at the used car dealership on the corner waving for a weekend, let them. It's who cares? You're still not a professional athlete because you have a side job based on being you.
This is America, man. It's called a side hustle.
Right? What is it going to get them? Are they going to Uber?
Hustle.
They're like, no, that's all. You're out. I'm sorry. You blew your eligibility by picking that person up and taking them to the show.
No, the NCAA is just a bunch of foolery. I really don't understand their existence. So this so-called Rich Paul rule, as far as the bachelor degree and whatnot or what so not. I don't understand that aspect of it. Even the nuances of the rules don't make sense to me as I read it and I see it. It absolutely makes no sense because.
Well, here's the statement on the NCAA, and they put this out on Twitter, and I just want to mention that that while I don't hate them like you do sometimes, I'm starting to because of this statement. It's the tiniest white font on blue background, so it strains your eyes to read it. But what I think it says is that they're an institution of learning. Of higher education, Guru, and so they want everybody to have degrees to represent that you should have degrees, and that's their line on this one. So that's the reason.
That is perfectly said by the NCAA. A bunch of nothing. A bunch of nothing. Do they know those players are not even graduate? You want a guy with a college degree to represent guys who are more than likely don't have a college degree.
Right, are leaving your college
early without a degree.
Right, that's the point.
It just absolutely makes no. If you want to do all that, then tell the players you have to have a college degree before you play professionally. If they really want to be gangster about it, this is nothing. NCAA, you can't do anything about it. And what confused me. This don't even affect the top tier athletes in this situation.
No, it doesn't matter at all. The guys who are leaving anyway.
Exactly. And one last thing that really grind my gears, why is this only catered to the basketball? Why is it catered to a basketball which is predominantly, let's just say, people of the minority population?
Oh, is it? I hadn't noticed.
Why? It's just so weird to me how this is catered to a guy like a Rich Paul, who is a product of America, a product of
the
America, the heartland, hustle. Let me take that back. Entrepreneurship, because he got all the qualifications that was in front of him to be in the NBA agent, to be a representative. He accomplished that.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me that accomplishment has no bearing for the NCAA. Him governing hundreds of millions of dollars of contract. Now he's probably almost $1 billion in career-wise. How much? I
think he owns half of Los Angeles at this point. I think like most of the West Side.
Hey, you tell me a guy like that can't even go and recruit a kid and tell him his best interest for that kid. That is unbelievable, NCAA. You just keep doing it to yourself, NCAA.
Well, it's what you're absolutely right about that, because why would I bet you the NCAA allows interns at Clutch Sports. Like they're saying that this guy you would need a degree, and yet I'll bet you they allow interns at Clutch Sports to get the credit from the guy who doesn't have the degree because he set up a goddamn business. Like you don't. I guess in that sense, he does kind of that would stick in the craw of people whose job it is to sell you degrees, is that you're on your way out. So maybe it is just them wanting to kick people in the ass, really, on their way out the door, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's all.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's change.